A beautiful day outside and a very nice day inside the John Breslow Hockey Center. Francis Howe, Colin Dalvand, here to watch some Husker hockey. The last game of the season for these Lady Huskers, trying to end it out on a good note after last night's blowout. Francis, we've done a lot of research and a lot of intel on these teams. What are a couple of things that stand out to you?
For Nebraska, they're so good with their communication and the connection that they have on the team, but so is this Minnesota team. Growing up together, playing all in Minnesota together, they have that connection. They have the friendships that they've built, and both teams really are good with their friendships. But offensively, Minnesota just continuously dominates this Nebraska team. But on Nebraska's side, it's protecting the net. They need to work on protecting the net and getting the puck out, but quick puck movements off the net, too.
Yeah, 7 goals last night conceded by Bailey Arnold. It was her senior night. She's going to get the start again today. Hopefully looking for a better performance than last night. Definitely in that sense. It's going to be Olive Riley in net for the Bulldogs. In 7 games, she has an .896 save percentage and 21 goals allowed. So she is also looking to get on track. But what is your key tonight for the Bulldogs?
For the Bulldogs, play how they played yesterday, but clean it up a little bit. You could tell they made some mistakes. They got a little sloppy at some moments, but overall they did come out with the win, and a win is a win. But cleaning up just like the mistakes that they made, the simple plays, calming down a little bit. You are coming into this after a great win yesterday, but you can still clean up some of those movements.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the Huskers, they're missing a couple of players, which is going to lead to Shelby Stevens starting in defense next to her sister, Tony. So how is that going to go for her?
The sister dynamic, I think, could really help this Nebraska team. You look at all these sports when they play with their sibling, they have a different bond. They have a different energy on the field or on the court or on the rink. Yeah. You want to see that, and I hope we get to see that from the sisters today.
Well, last game of the season inside the Breslow Hockey Center. We're going to send it to a quick break, but when we're back, we'll have this final game and hopefully a Husker win to close out the season. Back inside the Breslow Hockey Center and down rinkside, we have Abby McFarland with more on today's game. Well, some technical difficulties, but back up here in the booth, Francis Howe, Colin Dalvand. Francis, we have starting lineups, so if you want to go ahead and, the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs, if you want to read them off and tell me something that stands out on here.
I think the dynamic between the team is what's going to stand out for them.
Camille Dunlap, Natalie Dufair, Brooke Pockrant, Alyssa Radetke, Annalise Walker, and Olive Riley in net as we get started here. 19:53 remaining in the first, moving over quickly for the Huskers. Corinne McCord, Tony Stevens, Shelby Stevens, the sisters start in defense, and ahead of them, Izzy Palmer, Addie Rusing, and I already said Corinne McCord. Bailey Arnold gets the start in net again, the senior goaltender out of Minden, Nebraska. A quick couple of offensive zone faceoffs for the Huskers. And a bit of a slow start here at the Breslow Hockey Center, but underway nonetheless. Addie Rusing dumps it in. Camille McCord down there. It's cleared out by the Bulldogs. Trying to get out of their own zone, but they can't. Some nice pressure from the Huskers, something that they're going to need to work on early here if they want to seal a win. We're going to try sending it back down to rinkside with Abby McFarland here right now. Well, some more technical difficulties. Apologies from up here in the booth, but just underway here at the Breslow Hockey Center. 18:35 remaining in the first period. Just underway, the final game of the season for these Lady Huskers. McKenna Mueller down close by Camille Dunlap in her own zone. Eventually given up to Brianna Buenacontro, and then a nice catch in net by Bailey Arnold.
For Nebraska, their key is they need to get that first goal. They need to get their momentum up, especially coming off that loss last night. Getting the momentum up and getting that first goal, I think, is going to really benefit them. But for this Minnesota team, getting those shots, taking those reps is what's going to help put them ahead today.
And we talked to Annika Burke yesterday, or more accurately, you did, Francis, as a puck out in front of net. Nice save, and then a double save by Bailey Arnold. A nice double save from the senior. As I was saying, Francis, you talked to her last night, and she said she was really pleased with how they played, but yesterday is yesterday, and today is today.
They're keeping that game in the past, and that's exactly how they need to come into this game. You can't come into it and be like, oh, we won yesterday, we're going to automatically win again today. You have to come in with the same momentum that they had yesterday.
Izzy Palmer along the board. She's closed down quickly by Annika Burke. She is the center of attention right now here in the booth. She ends up winning it. A nice win down in the O-zone for her. She sends it back. Now Greta Petrie sends it back down the boards, looking for Burke. Gets it out in front. The shot up on net. It's in front of net and then out by the Huskers. Izzy Palmer sends it up. McKenna Mueller had it for a second before it was poked off her stick. A nice poke check there from the Bulldogs. Slipping is Alexandra Prague, and the Huskers have it again. Here comes Camille McCord. Or excuse me, that's Corinne McCord, having trouble with the 8 and 18 there. Tony Stevens now looking for the centering pass. It's deflected and then taken by the Bulldogs. Dumped into the O-zone. It's Jamie Triplett now. Closed down nicely by Camille McCord down there. Battle for the puck on the boards. Back behind the net now. Stolen away by the Huskers. McKenna Mueller again. And now with Shelby Stevens. Stolen away by the Bulldogs real quick. And then sent in front of net. And then out. The Huskers regain possession in neutral ice. Here's McCord. Now Stevens. The Bulldogs win it back. 16:30 remaining in the first. Francis Howell, Colin Dalvan at the John Breslow Hockey Center. We have Abby McFarland ringside when we work through these technical difficulties.
Both teams, you can see how quick their movements are, but some of their movements have been too quick, losing possession of that puck. But both teams really need to take a breath and regain their control and regain their momentum.
Addie Rusing with a nice poke in front, and then a shot that goes wide for the Bulldogs. Losing her bounce there, looks like Sophia Botcher as she put the shot on net. Izzy Palmer now for the Huskers. A nice move, and she gets away from one. Can't get away from a second, though, and the Bulldogs retain possession of the puck. Annalise Walker, she's closed down quickly by McCord. Sends it, dumps it in, and that'll be icing. We'll come back for a defensive zone face-off.
I'm liking the sister duo that we have in the back. They've definitely, the defense for Nebraska has definitely stepped up from last night. You saw Minnesota getting that goal in the first 5 minutes last night, but we're holding them to it at least for a little bit right now within these 5 minutes, Nebraska is. But still, getting those shots off for Nebraska is going to be key, especially having these face-offs on Minnesota's side.
Definitely a point of emphasis for the Huskers was to not concede early, and they've achieved that here. Tony Stevens with the shot on net. It's blocked in front, and it comes back to her. Antonia Stevens sends it down low. The puck finds its way behind the net and then comes all the way around. Shelby Stevens sends it forward, gets knocked down to her knees, and the Bulldogs can break now. A 1-on-2. They are outnumbered. A nice poke there by Tony Stevens. She seems to be doing it all right now for the Huskers. Finds her sister now. Here's Shelby. Shelby Stevens glides into the ozone, has it poked away, and then her stick ripped away. She doesn't she doesn't want anything there. The Bulldogs come away with it, and a brief one-on-one chance for the Bulldogs. Here's Brianna Bonencontra, one-on-one off the post, and no for the Bulldogs. A nice goaltending play there from Bailey Arnold.
Bailey Bean missed her senior weekend, yesterday's senior night, but tonight her last home game and game. She really wants to step it up for her team. You saw not the greatest performance last night, but it was her senior night. At least we're honoring her this weekend. Nebraska is, but you do hope that you can see a better performance tonight.
Tony Stevens bringing it forward for the Huskers. Centering pass in front. Nothing there for Addie Rusing. Yeah, you said it, Francis. In this case, a back-to-back is a great opportunity to make amends. A shot out in front, and a nice save there from Olive Riley, the freshman goaltender from Plymouth, Minnesota. But a back-to-back is perfect for these situations, especially when you're not on your game the night before. It's a quick turnaround to bounce back from your poor performance. Palmer sends it around the boards, has Camille McCord. That's Corinne McCord, excuse me. The pass out in front doesn't find anybody from the Huskers wearing those nice black uniforms on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Centering pass out in front for Palmer, doesn't find her. The Huskers retain it. It's Lexi Rager dumps it in. Izzy Palmer trying to win it back. She can't. And it finds its way out in front again. And that was a nice save, and then some extracurriculars after the play from both sides. It looks like that was number 18 on the Bulldogs, Annalise Walker in there, or excuse me, number 19, Greta Petrie, with something to say after that. She's going to head to the box. I'm not sure if any Huskers are going to head to the box, but we could see a Husker power play here, Francis. You
do love to see that these players are getting aggressive, but you also don't want to get to that point where it leads to this type of fight. But Nebraska coming on to this power play is really going to be a very important 2 minutes for them. Getting that power play, getting that advantage, you hope that they can take advantage, especially with this being the goalie they scored both their goals on last night. You have to just take those shots and continue to take them.
Well, no surprise, it is Greta Petrie. She is third in the team in penalty minutes. Her 13th and 14th penalty minutes coming up as the Huskers enter the power play. Puck out in front of net. Nothing there for the Huskers, though. The Bulldogs have a chance to clear or more. Bringing it up ice is Anika Burke. That was a nice move to get by the Huskers. She still has it, and then it's taken away by Tony Stevens. Her name has been called plenty of times so far in this first period. Here come the Huskers again. A nice poke there from the Bulldogs, and it's a brief 1-on-3. Tony Stevens tried to clear it. No, not working for her, and Buenencontro can't, or excuse me, that's Sophia Botcher. Shelby Stevens into the ozone now. Just over a minute 10 left on this power play for the Huskers. Centers it over. Here's Radel. She'll put a shot on net. Nice save by Olive Riley, and the Bulldogs clear.
Attacking those shots, especially within the power play, is key. The puck is going to bounce off that goaltender many times, so you have to take advantage of that. You have to continuously crash the net. Some pressure there from, that looks like Camille Dunlap. She slipped and lost her footing for a second. The Huskers had a brief opportunity for a 5-on-3, didn't take advantage. The Bulldogs can clear once again, and they do. Just under 40 remaining on this power play. 12 minutes remaining in the first period, and the Bulldogs actually have a shorthanded chance down in the ozone. They don't take advantage of it, however. Radels tries to send it up and maybe get a change as she heads off to the bench. Dumping it in is Camille Dunlap. The Huskers recover. They need to go quickly if they want to make anything of this power play. 10 seconds remaining on it. They don't look to be moving with too much urgency. Off the boards is Rusing to Mueller. Trying to poke it away is Jamie Triplett. Here come the Huskers. Shot on net. And a nice save by Olive Riley. Once again,
11:21 remaining in the first.
Nebraska did take advantage of several opportunities they had, but it almost seemed like Minnesota kind of dominated that power play with their clears, and they almost had the same amount of shots during that power play, which you don't usually typically see, especially with Nebraska being on that power play.
It shows you the team chemistry this team has, all of them from Minnesota, as we mentioned earlier, and here they come again. Greta Petrie, fresh out of the box, dumps it inside, a nice move, and I think an even better save from Bailey Arnold.
That was a great save by Arnold. And this is the type of performance that we want to see from her. She's been doing so fantastic tonight compared to last night. And coming off that loss, she's definitely upset about it. She definitely does not want to have that type of performance again. 6
saves so far from the senior from Minden, Nebraska. Has allowed 46 goals this year. I'm sure she'll not be pleased with that. But today we celebrate her and the entire team for a great season that they've had. The Bulldogs dump it in. Shelby Stevens now on the puck. She's being pressured relatively closely, sends it off the boards, but Addie Grusin cannot pick it up. The Bulldogs dump it back in, and Tony Stevens can reset for the Huskers. Anika Burke pressuring Tony Stevens, but the Huskers break free. Here's Radel. She dumps it over to Rusing. Coming closely and then knocking herself down as well, and winning the puck back is Alexandra Prague. Excuse me, that's Elena Benson. A little miscommunication, but the Huskers nearly get away with it. They do now. Rusing dumps it forward to McCord, can't find her. McCord sticks with it, nearly poked it away, and almost had a one-on-one opportunity, not to be, under 10 minutes now. There's a hand in the air. It looks like a penalty will be coming up to the Huskers. Excuse me, that's going to be icing.
You look at both these teams, Minnesota does such a good job clearing that puck, but Nebraska, in order to get ahead in this game, it's continue to take shots, but also avoid those clears and have better control of that puck. They seem to be making the simple mistakes with just a bad touch off the stick, which is kind of a downfall for them right now with how well Minnesota has been clearing this puck.
The faceoffs were a bit of an issue last night in favor of the Bulldogs. The Huskers had a problem with it. They've not looked too much better today, but they are keeping the pressure on as Radel's shot goes straight into the glove of Olive Riley. Third time's a charm. We're going to send it down to rinkside. Abby McFarland has more.
Hey guys, thank you. Yeah, Nebraska had a quick turnaround last night from ending their game at 8:30 and to their game today at 2:30. They only have 5 subs, so they're working what they have, hoping to go into this game with strong communication, great defense, and the offense coming out very strong. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Abby. Glad to finally hear your voice on the broadcast. Like we said, third time is a charm. We're going to hear again from her at first and second intermissions as well as postgame. Radel now glides into the O-zone and poked away nicely there by Brooke Potrant. McCord now along the boards, little scuffle, nothing more, and the Bulldogs retain possession of the puck. Winning it back nicely is Corinne McCord. She glides around, looks for an opportunity, can't find it, and it's eventually cleared away to center ice. Shelby Stevens now. The pass was a little too hot for McKenna Mueller, and the Bulldogs glide into the O-zone. Here's Jamie Triplett now. Shot on net! It looked like it was blocked on its way through. She tries a second opportunity. Nothing there. And Shelby Stevens recovers the puck. Sends it forward to Mueller. A brief 3-on-2 chance if the Huskers want it. Mueller didn't look to her right. If she did, she would have saw McCord and Palmer gliding in on net. 8:14 remaining in the first. 0-0 our score after an absolute goal fest last night. 7-2 in favor of the Bulldogs. Rusing sends it over to Palmer, and then she dumps it into the O-zone where no one is. A brief, and here's a breakaway for Boninconcho in on net, and she scores.
That was a phenomenal goal by Minnesota. It was right where it needed to be, but they just get past that defense, and that is Nebraska needs to step up on their defensive end, but Minnesota takes advantage of every time Nebraska's defense breaks, and that is one of Nebraska's downfalls right now, because when they do break, it's hard for them to recover back from that. But now Minnesota, with that momentum after this first goal, I'm sure we're going to see several more from them in the next minute.
2 goals last night for Brianna Buenencontro. Now one this afternoon has her up to 19 points on the season, something she can be very proud of as the Bulldogs go up 1-0 with just under 7:30 remaining in the first period. All the pressure was going the other way, it seemed like, Francis, so that goal came against the run of play. How can the Huskers stabilize themselves after that?
It's going back and thinking this game is back at 0-0, first goal, first helping. Always in hockey, 1 goal you can come back from. It's hard to come back from 1 goal, but it's harder to come back from 2. So you just have to pretend that it is still 0-0 and take that as we're going to get the first goal. Our momentum is going to shift. And I do think if Nebraska can go and get that 1 goal and tie it at 1-1, this game will be completely different. But as we saw last night with Minnesota getting up and then continuously to go up and score, Nebraska just felt like they were breaking down every time that Minnesota scored. So if you could minimize that and get that next goal, we could see a completely different game.
And Bailey Arnold should not lose any confidence as well as she has played or has started this afternoon, at least in comparison to last night's barrage. Tony Stevens now sends it along the boards, but Anika Burke picks it up, shot in, and a nice save from Bailey Arnold once again. She has been on so far this afternoon. The Huskers turn it over, puck out in front of net, and they clear momentarily. It's put back in by Burke, but nothing there. Still in the O-zone for the Bulldogs. Getting by, a nice move there from Alyssa Radecki, and then inside out in front, and Bailey Arnold covers up. A nice job there. Some more extracurriculars. It looks like Tony Stevens and Alyssa Radecki getting into it in front of net.
We did see a few dangerous plays right then. You need to get that puck out of the center of the ice as quickly as you can, especially when it's right in front of your goalie. With how small that is and how quick it could just get hit right to the net, clearing it when it is in front of the goalie is definitely important, and we do see Nebraska struggle with that a little bit.
Brooke Pockram put it in for a tip. Another turnover too close to net, and nearly a chance for Anika Burke. Still in the O-zone for the Bulldogs. This constant pressure from them is something we haven't seen yet this afternoon, but we saw plenty of last night. Finally, the Huskers retain possession. A 3-on-2 if Palmer looks up. Tries to get by. A nice deke there, and then taken out, and a very nice poke there from Elena Benson. A 3-on-2 the other way potentially for the Bulldogs. They're going to get a line switch on instead. Here's Burke, shot on net. Nice save, back out in front. And then off to the right as Bailey Arnold tries to shove off Sophia Botcher, who's just laying in front of net.
We are seeing such a different show from Arnold tonight that you look at last night's game and you think, what did you come into this game thinking? And what did you take from yesterday's game to show up to this game a completely different player, a completely different game, but you are ready to play, and her momentum and her energy has definitely shifted from last night's game.
You can tell, Francis, because there's a lot of pushing and shoving, a lot of physical play down near the net. She looks like a completely different player tonight, and that can only be to the benefit of the Huskers. 1-0 they trail with 5:13 remaining in the first period. Sparrow Shipperbottom looks like her first ice time, gets it around the boards, and then the Huskers lose it in their own zone. A shot on net. Another nice save from Bailey Arnold. A poor clearance attempt by the Huskers. Sent again in front, and Bailey Arnold covers up once again. She's looked great so far.
Minnesota does such a good job at getting those shots, but something you see, they get their rebounds, but then Nebraska clears it. It just goes right back to Minnesota, where it's almost sometimes seems like they're just passing it back to them. But Minnesota does such a good job at crashing that net after they take their shots.
Yeah, a lot of good pressure out in front of net so far. We did see it a lot last night, which caused 7 goals. Another shot on net and another save. Bailey Arnold once again. 4:39 remaining in the first.
Nebraska needs to protect that net a little bit more. Arnold is having a great game compared to last night, but it's still shot after shot for this Minnesota offense. And if Nebraska can start to protect that net a little bit more, I think we can already see a difference in play.
Oh, the puck nearly reached Corinne McCord there for a potential one-on-one opportunity. Instead, it'll come back down into the Bulldogs' O-zone. Lexi Rager now. Nice move to evade the incoming Bulldog. Sending it up ice. Being tripped up is McCord, and the puck is sitting under her skate. And plenty of Bulldogs get back as Meredith Radill could not recover the puck. A scrum along the boards. Shelby Stevens in there for the Huskers. Sent back along the boards, and the Bulldogs will retain possession of the puck. Just under 4 minutes now remaining in the first period. Here's the goal scorer. Wenencontro on net. No dice. And sent back in front. She heads over to the bench, Wenencontro does. And here comes Corinne McCord at 100 miles an hour. She sends it on net. Not the best shot in the world. An easy save there for Olive Riley, but some pressure finally relieved for the Huskers.
A shot is a shot right now with Nebraska. They need to continue to take them, but Minnesota is doing such a good job at not even allowing them to take these shots. Nebraska's having to take their shots from so far out that it's almost on the off chance they rarely go in, but sometimes they will. But Minnesota's defense is so tight and it's so beneficial to them that they're barely getting these shots even close to the net.
McKenna Mueller in the slot over the net. No dice for McKenna. The Bulldogs recover. Addie Rusing fighting along the boards, and the Huskers will actually retain possession of the puck. Shelby sends it back to her sister Tony. She plays it along the boards looking for Palmer. Can't reach it, and then it's dumped back into the Bulldogs' O-zone, and I believe icing will be called. It'll come back for a defensive zone face-off.
Both teams are doing such a great job compared to last night, but you look at their simple mistakes, their simple movements, a too hard of a pass, a bad touch off that stick. That is what is killing both teams right now, is just sloppy mistakes that everybody knows that they're making, but they grew up playing this sport, and it's mistakes that are just kind of happening right now that don't typically happen to them.
It is the Hockey State Minnesota, as they have fantastic chemistry, this entire Minnesota Duluth squad. We saw it last night. We're seeing it again today. Only 7-10 on the year and a tie to throw in there. This one, if they're not careful, the Huskers could have given up a chance there, but gliding in for the poke check, it looked like Sparrow Shipperbottom. Out in front for the Bulldogs. No dice. And here they come again. Had to be wary of an offside there, did Alyssa Radecki. She was, and the Huskers have it behind the net. She's coming back in for more. The puck doesn't reach McKenna Mueller. Instead, it's Anika Burke. Shipperbottom clears it, only as far as Jamie Triplett. The Huskers retain it and finally get it out of their own zone. Tony Stevens over to Mueller. Mueller gets it back eventually, and the puck leaves the zone for the Huskers. And here come the Bulldogs, dumping it in. Down low is Camille Dunlap. Here's Stevens now. A nice move to get away from Jamie Triplett. And then another nice move. A couple of nice dekes there from Tony Stevens to get away from the incoming Bulldogs. McKenna Mueller steals it. She might have a one-on-one opportunity. Puts it out in front. No Husker is there to tap it in. And the Bulldogs retain possession. Here's Shelby Stevens at the blue line. She'll send it in. It's intercepted by the Bulldogs well. Here comes Dunlap. Gets by one, trying to get by a second and third. She can't, but pulls back, sends it in on net. Nice save from Arnold again. And the Huskers have it behind the net. Rusing sends it over to Palmer. A minute left in this first period. Corinne McCord could not retain possession. A bit of a tricky pass there from Palmer. And the Bulldogs have it again. 45 seconds remaining. Here's Prague. Prague sends it out in front. Nice block there from Stevens. She's been everywhere defensively for the Huskers. A nice tip there from Palmer, and McCord nearly had a chance. Still has the puck, dumps it in, allows the Huskers to get a change. Shelby Stevens and Antonia Stevens come off for the Huskers.
You're seeing Minnesota be so persistent with getting those shots, but then they get that shot, they have that rebound, and then they just cannot find it.
McCord dumped one in on net, and Rusing had a little something to say as she heads off to the bench. Doesn't look like it'll be a penalty for either team. Just a little bit of physicality. Not something, or excuse me, we are absolutely used to that in this great sport of hockey.
You see these players being so physical, and it happens. You do get angry when you are down by one. And it's only the first period, though, so you do have time to get that back. And you don't want to be too aggressive to a point, but you also do need to be aggressive enough.
McCord with 2 on the clock, dumps it out in the slot. No one's there. And that'll conclude this very entertaining first period of action. The Bulldogs do lead the Huskers 1-0. We'll have second period action coming up on the other side of this 15-minute break. Frances Howe, Colin Dalvan, and of course Abby McFarland rinkside. You're watching Husker women's hockey on the Nebraska News Service. my God. Enough.
I couldn't hear it, so I was like, I know my mic's not on right now.
Literally. Wait, what's her bit about?
Dude, I don't know. It's the goal scorer. We are.
Welcome back inside the Breslow Hockey Center here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Francis Howell alongside Colin Dalvan. We're going to send it back down rinkside. Abby McFarland has an interesting story to tell us about. Technical difficulties, but we're going to send it back down to Abby McFarland rinkside. She has a very interesting story to tell us about. We love technical difficulties more than anything else in the world, so we're going to send it back down there another side, but we open up the second period with a goal. It's McKenna Mueller right off the draw, 19:52 on the clock. The Huskers not wasting any time and tying this one right back up.
That is the momentum you need coming into the second period. You have to wonder what happened in that locker room to come out with such a strong start this period.
Well, Francis, everyone settling back into their seats. You and I settling back into the broadcast booth. 8 seconds gone by. The Huskers have one back, and this game is all tied up at 1. We discussed it at the break, Francis. The Huskers just need to keep doing what they're doing because they've looked like the better team in the first period. Mueller again, shot on net, and that one was just a little wide. The Huskers have looked really good so far in this second period as they did in the first. Being shoved down to the ground is Lexi Rager. I think that's a penalty coming up to the Bulldogs. Brianna Buenencontro is going to head over to the box. Abby McFarland rinkside now. The technical difficulties have set aside. Take it away.
Brianna Buenencontro had her first goal today, and she had 2 goals last night. She continues to be very aggressive as a forward and continues to do great today. Bailey Arnold had 3 saves, has 13 saves so far, and she continues to be very, very great. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Abby. We'll have her along for the second intermission and post-game if you haven't heard her yet. Shove out in front of net. And the Huskers are currently on the power play. 20 seconds gone by. Tony Stevens at the blue line. She dumps it in. It looks like Lexi Rager down there. Back to Stevens. Stevens assessing her options. Finds Mueller, the goal scorer. Dumps it over to Shelby Stevens. She loses the puck, and the Bulldogs can clear. But fanning on the clearance are the Bulldogs. Stevens comes back up with it. Back to the blue line. It's Mueller again. A very nice goal to open up the period for McKenna Mueller and the Huskers. It's her again. Now Stevens at the blue line. The Huskers in no rush right now.
We talked about this a little bit during that break, Colin, but you look at Nebraska and when they are taking that 1v1, they tend to lose that puck, but right now their passing has been extremely significantly better than last night and the first period today, and that is helping them right now.
Tony Stevens with the shot in. Yeah, you said it. It's looked a lot more crisp, Francis. I'd have to agree with that one. Tony Stevens, a wide open Meredith Radel on net. A nice save there from Olive Riley. And the Huskers can't pick it back up. Being pulled down is McKenna Mueller. No call. And fighting for it is Radel again. Mueller realizes she has space, takes it in, and fires on net. Another nice save by Olive Riley. But 2 minutes gone by, a little over 2 minutes. Momentum's been all with the Huskers.
Nebraska does have that momentum, and coming out with such a strong start with getting that goal is exactly what they needed, but they need to continue the momentum. They can't just lose that and pretend that they didn't just have that momentum. It's coming out stronger than getting that first goal within those 8 seconds of the second period.
A nice clearance from the Bulldogs leaves the Huskers with 10 seconds on this power play. Some pressure down low. Radel now. She's being pressured as well. The power play is over for the Huskers, and the Bulldogs, if they looked a little quicker, they would have had coming out of the box, I believe, was number 9, Brianna Buenencontro, but not quick enough. The Huskers still have it, and they give it away at neutral ice. Here come the Bulldogs now. Sophia Botcher inside, and the shot on net. Another nice save from Bailey Arnold.
Arnold is on her game today, and Nebraska loves to see how strongly she can come back after that loss from last night.
The injury to Sully Daphnis has left them with one other goaltender on the roster, and that is the senior 5'5" tender in Bailey Arnold. Minden, Nebraska native in 5 games this year, or I guess 6. This is her 6th this afternoon. 0-5 with a .735 save percentage, so not numbers she'll be too pleased with, but she can be very pleased with her performance this afternoon. 1-1, Francis Howe, Colin Delvand here at the John Breslow Hockey Center in Lincoln, Nebraska. 16:45 remaining in the second period of the final game of the season for the Huskers. Here's Addie Rusing now. Gets it over to Palmer. Palmer, if she goes quickly, she'll have a one-on-one. A nice cutoff there from the Bulldogs and Eva Beck. Here comes Emma Perks now. Emma Perks, centering pass, and another nice save from Bailey Arnold out in front. At the blue line, they're going to reset. Anika Burke taking it around. She'll get the shot away. It's blocked well by a couple of Huskers, and it doesn't find its way to net. At the blue line now, Corinne McCord takes it away. A nice move there to get away from the poke of Alyssa Radecki. The Bulldogs come away with it down in their defensive zone, and they have a chance to reset. Emma Perks behind net. The freshman defenseman gets it out. And it's played out. It looks like icing is clearly going to be waved off. Looking back are the Bulldogs. No dice on that pass from Anika Burke. Here's Radecki now on net. A nice block from the Huskers. Now Corinne McCord, a chance to break. The Bulldogs come away with it at center ice. No changes for the Huskers as they didn't get it far enough. Here come the Bulldogs again. Around net and stopping it is Greta Petrie. She'll put one on net. Through traffic, it doesn't find its way to the net, and a battle down on the boards for the puck. The Bulldogs come away with it. I think that one ticked the bar, or the post, excuse me, but in a non-threatening position. Going down are Corinne McCord and Alyssa Radecki. No call there. Comes back out center ice. This is Prague now. Prague will put it in. It goes off the board. That one was a little closer than I think some initially thought. Battle for the puck alongside the far side boards. And the Huskers end up coming away with it. Here's Meredith Radel. Radel glides into the O-zone. Has Mueller to her right. Goes alone. A nice save from Olive Riley. Keeps the score at 1-1. And now a break down the other end. It's Brianna Buenencontro. One-on-one with Bailey Arnold. A nice save from Arnold. She gets it back. Buenencontro puts it on net. And another save from Arnold. A couple of great saves from Bailey Arnold keeps the score level, but the Huskers are not out of the woods yet. Elena Benson gets it down. A shot. Another nice save. That one from Camille Dunlap. A centering pass. No one's there for the Bulldogs. The Huskers find and clear it and can get a couple changes onto the ice.
That is exactly what you want to see from Arnold. She is so quick with her movements today, and you were hoping to see that last night on her senior night. But you take it into this is her senior weekend. She wants that redemption from her performance last night.
Oh, a ferocious hit there from Addie Rusing. Gives the puck back to the Huskers. She sends a centering pass, but no Huskers in the vicinity. The Bulldogs break now. A nice poke there from Antonia Stevens, and it finds its way to net, but it's blockered away by Arnold. Back at the blue line. Brooke Pockrant resets. Now Camille Dunlap. The Huskers intercept. That's Izzy Palmer. The puck glides around on the ice, eventually finds its way to the glove of, who else? Bailey Arnold. 13-13 remaining in the second. A very intriguing 1-1 tie here at the Breslow Hockey Center.
You've seen Minnesota be so good with clearing that puck in the first period, and Nebraska struggled with that a little bit, but you're kind of continuing to see the struggle with clearing the puck for Nebraska right now. But Minnesota on the other end is struggling to even get those shots down and getting that puck into the into the O-zone.
A penalty coming up, I believe, to the Huskers as the door opens. No, that's the Bulldogs. A little pushing and shoving. It looks like it'll be Emma Perks, the freshman defenseman. 8 points this year for her and 10 penalty minutes. It'll be her 11th and 12th. She's 4th on the team, so you can't say it's unexpected.
You talk about how important these power plays are, but looking at that Nebraska side, they had that momentum coming into this period, but taking that momentum into this power play. In their first power play, we saw they completely dominated that. Their passes were crisp and they were perfect, but you need to see them get that goal. You need to see them get their momentum even higher than what it was and what it has been so far.
Well, the Huskers look good on the first power play they had earlier in the period. They look decent there so far. They just have to continue that momentum as they've looked like the better team so far, Francis. You just said it a minute ago. A lot of pressure being put on net.
They need to continue with those shots, so especially with the minute 30 within this period. Not this period, this power play, sorry, but take advantage of that. Take advantage of having the upper hand right now and continue to get those shots off.
Schimmerbottom! A nice strike from the defenseman, and the Huskers convert the power play. 12:37 remaining in the second. A great shot that went through traffic, and Sparrow Schimmerbottom has her first goal in the final game of the year.
You love to see this right now. They take advantage of it, but now they have even that extra momentum. They came in, they got that goal within 8 seconds, but now they're up. Last night we did not see them up at all, and they were down the entire game, sometimes by way too many goals, but now they are up by this goal. With the momentum shift that they're going to have is going to be completely changing this game right now.
A top left corner snipe from the junior defenseman standing at 5'4", and the Lincoln native gets the Huskers in front with just under 12:30 remaining in the second period. A lot of pressure still being applied down in the O-zone for the Huskers. The Bulldogs finally get it clear. That's something that's worked well for the Huskers today. Here comes Corinne McCord now in the slot. She fires. Rusing picks up the loose puck, has a wide open shot as she wants it. It goes wide, and the Huskers recover again. Izzy Palmer down the boards.
You do look at it with last night, the Bulldogs did switch their goalies. Lucy Whitehead, their other goalie, who is a strong goalie and a great goaltender who played a performance of a great night last night, but you do look at the Bulldogs on, do you think that they will switch out their goalies?
It's definitely a possibility, Francis. You never know, especially this late in the year. Maybe a little bit of a trip there. No dice for Tony Stevens. A centering pass and a shot out in front. It doesn't go the way of the Bulldogs. But to answer your question, Francis, the Bulldogs could absolutely turn to Lucy Whitehead in 12 games this year, a .914 save percentage, something she can be proud of as Arnold covers up again. She's been fantastic tonight for the Huskers.
This is right around the time in yesterday's game that they did switch out their goalies. I would not be surprised if they did. But you also look at it, you have this freshman goalie in net right now who did have a great game last night, but also did let in 2 goals last night. But now this game, she has let in 2 goals already and has the Bulldogs losing 2-1 right now.
You and I both know well that you typically don't see goaltenders replaced at 2 or 3, maybe even 4 goals in a game. So if the Bulldogs do concede a couple more, and even 3 or 4 more, yes, my answer would be yes, Francis. I think you will see a tender switch. 10:40 remaining in the second period. A potential break for the Bulldogs now. That's Brianna Buenencanto inside. A nice move. All it lacked was the finishing touch. And the puck leaves the O-zone for the Bulldogs. The Huskers can get a switch on if they want. They opt not to. Happy with the 5 they have on the ice. Picking up it is Radel in the O-zone. The shot is blocked. And Emma Perks comes with it. Her penalty costly a couple minutes ago, giving the Huskers a 2-1 advantage. Here she comes now, trying to make up for it. Gets it in the slot, takes it out of the slot. Buenaventura inside, she's shoved down as the shot hits the boards and nothing else. Dunlap. Back inside, she gets it back. A nice move and a whistle goes. Looks like a penalty will be coming up to the Bulldogs once again, I believe, Francis. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
It will be on Nebraska. There was a little bit of a shove down there.
And as you just talked about, a goaltender switch. Lucy Whitehead heads in net. The junior 5'7" tender out of Eagan, Minnesota, will take over for Olive Riley, I guess. Right on cue, Francis.
Nebraska on the disadvantage with this power play. What they need to show is they just need to clear that puck with every opportunity they can get. But Minnesota needs to take advantage of this. All they need to do is continuously put those shots on Arnold, and evidently one of them will go in, but they need to get those shots, as many as they can, within these 2 minutes.
Dunlap over to Pockrent. We're going to send it down to Abby McFarland. She has something rink side for us.
Hey guys, Meredith Reether, this is her 6th goal of the year and is the 2nd one leading the team in points. Cheryl Shipperbottom's 2nd goal for the season. Nebraska's getting a lot of new faces into scoring the points. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Abby. 1:05 remaining on this power play. The Huskers have done well so far. Nice move, and then a shot inside through traffic. Finds its way to the net, but goes over the net. Looked like that was Anika Burke. She's been everywhere for the Bulldogs over the past couple of days. Sending it inside, centering pass from Pockrent. Doesn't find its target. The Bulldogs can reload. Burke now over to Dunlap. Here's Petrie. Sends it inside. Doesn't find anything there. Burke again now. Sends it on net. Blocked well there by Shipperbottom. A nice clearance from McKenna Mueller, I believe. Gets it down ice. And the Huskers, 25 seconds left on this power play for the Bulldogs. Maybe another chance or two for them. Here comes Buenaventura. Caught offside. Not happy about that. And now she's going to go to the box for 2, I think. Francis, what was that show of frustration from Brianna Buenaventura that got her in the box?
Kind of seems a little bit like, I mean, she's throwing her helmet, her gloves, she's throwing everything in that penalty box. She's definitely not happy about this call. But you kind of look at it, it's a little unsportsmanlike to be this aggressive with a call that was a clear penalty that you did see.
Well, 19 points now. She is 2nd on the team in points for the Bulldogs. So no surprise, a big competitor. 17 seconds of a 4-on-4. A little chip there, nothing there. Burke inside, and the shot is wide left. No dice. The Husker power play begins now as Addie Roosing flies out of the box. The puck still down in the O-zone for the Bulldogs, taking it inside, and a nice save from Bailey Arnold again. 7:43 remaining in the 2nd period. And Bailey Arnold has just been everywhere after conceding 7 last night. Only 1 so far. 24 shots on net. She's saved 23 of those. A very nice performance from the senior. Roosing holding up Burke there. A shot inside. That was a bit of a wild one. I don't believe it took any hits off of any sticks. McCord pressuring well. The shot comes in from the blue line, and it's eventually intercepted and taken by the Huskers. Here's Stevens. Tony Stevens.
You have Nebraska back on that power play. They have shown such great energy and momentum when they are on that power play. With a minute left in it, you do hope to see them get more momentum up and get more shots on net. But this Minnesota team their defense has completely shifted. They're so strong on the defensive end right now that they are not allowing any of those shots.
Well, you just heard it from Abby McFarland rinkside. That was Raydell's 6th goal of the season, and she's been an important part of this Huskers team. down the stretch. That's Shelby Stevens at the blue line, has it intercepted, and then a 3-on-1. If the Bulldogs can manage, a little fighting going on there at the blue line, and the Huskers eventually briefly recover. In the slot now, or the Bulldogs shot inside. A nice blocker save from Bailey Arnold, and this power play has looked a lot less dangerous for the Huskers than the first two. McCord now, maybe one last opportunity. Back to full strength are the Bulldogs. McCord in the slot. Nothing there for Corinne McCord.
Having that new goalie for Minnesota right now, Nebraska needs to take advantage of that. We didn't see Whitehead in net for the last half of the second period or the third period last night, and we didn't see her at the beginning of this game. So she hasn't been getting those shots on. She's not as warmed up as you have your other goalie as. You need to get those shots in right now, get them early while she is not as warmed up.
Mueller fresh onto the ice and right into the action. She takes the puck down low and then loses it. And Prague has it now. Has it taken off of her. Here's Shipperbottom, the goal scorer. She might attempt one. She does. It's blocked well by Emma Perks, the Bulldogs get it down the ice. Icing's waved off, and a chance inside, and a nice save again by Bailey Arnold. She's just been everywhere tonight for the Huskers.
She is truly everywhere, especially out of her crease. She has been leaving the crease quite a bit tonight, which we love to see from her. She has been so competitive tonight compared to last night, and it's such a different performance, and I think it's bringing such a different environment to her team right now and energy to her team with her performance right now.
Building from the back are the Huskers. It all starts with senior goaltender Bailey Arnold, now 25 saves, I believe. The Bulldogs down low. They have it taken off them by the Huskers. They win it back in the O-zone, though, and still have an opportunity here. A bit too much there. But when the Huskers had McKenna Mueller lurking, if they could have found her there, they don't. And the Bulldogs come again. A shot on net. And as falling down is Buenencontro. Nothing for the Bulldogs. Trying to break out is McCord. She can't. But the puck still ends up with the Huskers. Loose puck now, is retrieved by the Bulldogs down low. They have it behind the net. Taking it out in front. Nice save there again from Arnold. The Bulldogs retain. Get out in the slot. It doesn't find anyone. The Huskers under a lot of pressure right now. That pressure they've been giving so far in the first half of this second period is coming back to bite them. McKenna Mueller now down low behind the net, loses the puck. She had no options there, McKenna Mueller did. Tony Stevens being pressured. The Huskers get it down ice, and this one will come back for icing. 3:48 remaining here in the second period. Francis Howe, Abby McFarland down ringside. Colin Dalvan up here 2-1. The Huskers lead with 3:48 remaining in the second period.
Minnesota does such a good job at clearing that puck out of their zone, but on Nebraska's side it's the side they need to clear that out. They get their little simple mistakes and then they clear it out, but it just stays right in their zone. They need to get it across that blue line, so at least it gives them a second to reset.
Dunlap around the boards, gets it in front, the Bulldogs do. But no dice there for Minnesota Duluth. They can reset. A nice move there, and then fanning on the shot. It looks like Jamie Triplett. A really nice move, couldn't be paid off. She gets it back, sends it inside. That one's wide left. Fighting for it is Izzy Palmer, and getting it in. Well, that one was a lot closer. It looked really close here, and Bailey Arnold seemed to have her angles covered on that shot.
From my angle, I did think that goal was about to go in, and she had misinterpreted that.
Now, a couple teammates collide there, and it could be to the Huskers' benefit. Here comes Addie Rusing now, one-on-one with Benson. Benson does get the better of Rusing, and then a nice move to get away. She'll send it down ice. This one should be icing. It is. 2:40 remaining in the second.
The clears are benefiting this Minnesota team so extremely much. It's giving them a second to reset and just catch their breath and regain that control, regain the momentum. We saw Nebraska come out very strong, but it now is kind of switched, and it does seem like Minnesota is dominating the second half of the second period right now. And you want to see Nebraska come back and regain their control that they did come out with and how strong they came out of with the start.
Mueller takes a pine net. The one goal scorer to another. Shipperbottom sends it in looking for a tip. Nearly found it in Izzy Palmer. The Bulldogs have a chance to clear. They can't, though. Palmer on it again. A nice strong play there from Camille Dunlap. And a scrum. No scrum along the boards there. Excuse me. Here comes the Huskers now. Lexi Rager eventually finds its way to the Bulldogs. They have a chance now. A nice poke there from Shipperbottom kills that chance, and they get a change on the ice. Oh, if Radel hurries, a little slip. No dice, though. A little too fast is Annalise Walker. She dumps it, well, to be incredibly accurate, she dumps it into the bench, and this one will be a face-off down in the O-zone for the Huskers.
The break is what both teams need. They need to reset this. You have a minute 40 left in this period. And you almost want to just get those shots off quick, but you need to keep control. You need to not make those simple mistakes that are leading to very good chances for the other team, for both of these teams right now.
Yeah, you said it, Francis. A reset would probably be very beneficial for both of these sides. Just under a minute 35 now for each team to get into the locker room. The Bulldogs have it down low now. Behind the net is Walker. She dumps it back to the blue line. This is Petrie. Petrie sends it in. That one just wide. The Bulldogs retain. Dunlap now. Radecki sends it inside, looking for a tip, and a nice save again, and off the post for the Bulldogs. Bailey Arnold was there. Bailey Arnold again, and the Huskers. Here comes Corinne McCord. McCord in on net, and she's tripped up. Oh, and no penalty is called. That one looked like a surefire trip. Not to be. Tony Stevens tries to win it back, and here come the Bulldogs. Walker now gets it over to Dunlap. Dunlap on net. Nothing there. And now Shelby Stevens. Nice move to get away from the incoming Dunlap. Just under 35 seconds now in the period. Oh, yep, that one's going to be a little too high, looks like, from Camille Dunlap. A lot of frustration on that Minnesota Duluth sideline, or bench, excuse me, and it comes out there.
Going back to that trip, you usually see fans getting a little, kind of throw their hands up, get a little upset with those refs, but typically you don't see a coach doing that unless it is a for sure penalty. And from our angle, you kind of can see if it was a clear penalty. That should have been a tripping penalty right there. But on that breakaway, too, could have even resulted in a penalty shot for Nebraska, which could have even put them at the upper hand even more right now.
Would have been interesting to see the Huskers give it away at the blue line. And here comes Winning-Contra looking for her second. She gets it shorthanded and ties this one up with 16.4 remaining in the second.
That was a great shot by this Minnesota offense, and those breakaways have been so beneficial to Minnesota. We've seen so many of them, but Arnold, her performance still, even allowing that shot, so many goalies struggle with that breakaway shot that you can't even be upset about that goal right now from Arnold. But this Minnesota team taking advantage of that. They're quick skating. They get those great shots every opportunity they have.
Well, one thing you can be upset about, well, 1 second, Izzy Palmer shot on net. No dice. She sends it around the boards looking for Shipperbottom. As I was saying, one thing you can be upset about on that goal is the play at the blue line. Some incredibly sloppy play from the Huskers. Sees this one all tied up at 2 at the end of 2. But when we come back, the Huskers will be on the power play for another minute 30 after a bit of roughing there from Camille Dunlap. 2-2, as we just mentioned. Heading to second intermission. We'll hear from Abby McFarland on the other side of this break. Francis Howe, Colin Dalvand from the John Breslow Hockey Center in Lincoln, Nebraska. Welcome back inside the John Breslow Hockey Center here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Francis Howe alongside Colin Dalvan to take you the rest of the way for this season, I guess so to say. We have a bit of an update down at ringside from Abby McFarland.
Hey guys, Brianna Booney-Control scored the second goal for this game, and the game is tied 2-2. This is the first time in the series where the game is tied. Both teams are doing very good on the offense and defense, great communication between each other, and great chemistry on the line. Nebraska's offense is so much better than yesterday and continues to get better today. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Abby, we're gonna need to see that Husker offense really take it away here in this final period of the season, barring overtime, as they get it underway and win the face-off at center ice for, once again, the final time this year, the final period of the season for the Huskers. A minute 20 remaining on the power play as we open up the third period. Here comes Shipperbottom, centering pass in front. Nobody there for the Huskers. And does that goal before the intermission change things at all for the Huskers, Francis?
You kind of have to look at it. You're coming out. Yes, Minnesota did just score, but Nebraska does have the upper hand with this power play. And as we saw in the second period, Nebraska was dominating on their power plays. They were doing so well with their passes and getting those shots in. But now they do have that new goalie. Whitehead is still in that net. And you do kind of have to look at it and be like, Whitehead was killing it yesterday in net, but you still need to continue to get those shots. So it doesn't change much, but you do need to look at Nebraska getting more shots in at their net. And you only have 42 seconds left in this power play. They have to take advantage of that.
Not the most time in the world. Some physicality out in front of net between Alyssa Radecki and I believe Lexi Rager. Huskers win the face-off in the O-zone, and McKenna Mueller out. In the slot, goes low. Can't find anything. Puck's loose out in front of the net, and it's cleared away. Some physical play out in front by Elena Benson. Here comes another opportunity for Brianna Buenaventura out in front, and she scores. Another shorthanded goal for the Bulldogs. 18:52 remaining in this game. It gives them a 3-2 lead, and that one could be incredibly crucial down the stretch.
Shorthanded goals, you see them in hockey, but you don't see them as often as we have today in this game. We've seen 2 by Duluth right now, and Duluth is showing that they are faster skaters. They are quicker on their feet, and they are getting to those pucks, and we've seen it several times today with Duluth getting those breakaways and just proving that they are the faster team. But Nebraska does so well with controlling that puck, but Duluth is overall just skating faster than them during this game.
Still 13 seconds on this power play. The Huskers have one more opportunity available if they hurry. But Old Mo has switched benches and has found his way over to the Bulldogs, who now lead 3-2. 18:28 remaining in this one. The Huskers now trail 3-2 after such a strong first and second period. This third hasn't looked good so far. 2 shorthanded goals on the same penalty kill for the Bulldogs has them up 3-2. The Huskers deep in the O-zone. Centering pass out in front. No dice for the Huskers. It's cleared down ice for what should be an easy icing call. It'll come back down the other way.
Nebraska, their spacing is what is kind of tripping them up a little bit. You see them getting a little crossed over with their own players and their teammates, and then they end up losing that puck, which results in a Duluth advantage at that current moment. But you look at Duluth's offense and their defense, they're so spaced out on that ice that it's proving to be an even more advantage of them for having all that spacing right now.
The puck loose out in front, and then it kind of dies on the ice in favor of the Huskers. But do you think that's the main reason for the Huskers' downfall here in this third period, Francis?
The spacing we saw is a little bit of an issue last night for the Huskers, but we've also seen it a little bit today. Their centers and their wingers are kind of getting a little bumping into each other a few times. You've seen it happen one too many times. Then they also, their connection, their communication, we see the wingers taking it down the ice, but they're not looking up fast enough to see they have options in that center and on the other side of the wing.
Well, Prague is caught offside there. It'll be a, I believe, neutral ice face-off for each team. 7:21 remaining in the third period here in this one. Just underway in the third period. A second short-handed goal from Brianna Buenencontro left Bailey Arnold out in no man's land. She couldn't do anything about that as the Bulldogs lead 3-2. A centering pass out in front and then another chance in front. Arnold drops it and then picks it right back up. She has been on one, as the kids say here today.
Duluth does such a good job with getting those rebounds, getting those quick second chances, and Nebraska needs to get those clears out quicker. Even if it results in that icing, you have to just get that clear, get it out of your zone, and it gives you a chance to reset on the defensive end.
Well, Emma Perks needs to be careful here. Corinne McCord hot on her tail. And she isn't really, as Izzy Palmer wins it back and fans on the shot. Gets the puck back and then gives it back up. And here come the Bulldogs. It's a 2-on-3, a centering pass out in front. Caught well and then put into the back of the net. Annika Burke looking very swell on that fast break for the Bulldogs. 4-2, 16:39 remaining in this one.
What Duluth does so well is once they get that upper hand, once they get that momentum, they don't lose it. We saw them a little bit lose it a little bit in the first period, but they never backed off completely. They were still so into this game and everything, but now they have the momentum. 2 back-to-back goals within 2-3 minutes, and that momentum has not left Duluth's side. Nebraska needs to pick it up to get back to that momentum, get back to that time when they were ahead. It is only a 2. They're only down by 2, 16 minutes left. You're still in this game, but you cannot lose that momentum right now.
Yeah, momentum a big part of this third period. You just feel it switching sidelines, as we mentioned a minute ago, benches. And the Huskers, here comes an opportunity the way of McKenna Mueller. Tries to send it over to McCord, can't get it there. But Old Mo has switched benches. It's 4-2 now, and a couple shorthanded goals, as well as a beauty from Annika Burke. Has the guests out in front, or the visitors. Either way, leading 4-2 with just under 16 remaining in their season. A shot on net. That one was a pretty tame effort from Camille Dunlap. And Bailey Arnold makes another easy save. 30 saves tonight for the senior. She has conceded 4 goals, but I believe all 4 of them have been breakaways, so she can be very proud of her performance after conceding 7 last night. Another chance out in front for the Bulldogs, and Arnold covers up once again.
Nebraska, you've seen them struggling in that crease. They struggle to clear that puck out, and I think once they get that energy, once they get the momentum to get the puck out of the crease, it is going to shift the dynamic of this game. Many of their shots on Arnold have been coming from right then and there, but the puck, it is small. You can't really see it. One hit off that could just result in another goal for Duluth. So Nebraska needs to work on clearing that puck out immediately from that crease.
It could be one of the, or I don't want to say deficiencies, but not one of the best parts of Shelby Stevens' game is defending, as she's back on the defense line today. Typically a forward for the Huskers, but due to lacking numbers, she had to start back with her sister. And we are potentially seeing the downside of that. 4-2, 15 minutes remaining in this one, and 15 left for the Huskers to salvage something here. A poor giveaway there by Tony Stevens. And here comes Walker. Down behind the net are the Bulldogs. They tried the centering pass, couldn't get it there. The Huskers have a 2-on-2 if they hurry. Tony Stevens recognizes, comes down at pace, dumps it in, and is headed off to the bench. Oh, Corinne McCord could have had that one at the blue line. No dice there. The Huskers grab it back. The offside is waved off, and now it's Rager with the shot. Lexi Rager gets one on net, but no dice.
It's almost seemed like a completely different game ever since Duluth put Whitehead in this game. You saw them last night with Whitehead in the net, and they completely dominated this game, and now it is all shifted to with her back in net. It looks like Duluth is completely dominated and taken over this game.
The Huskers win the faceoff at the blue line now. Putting it back in is Rager, looking for a tip. Couldn't find it from McCord. And a battle along the boards, and then shoved down physically was McCord. I believe that was Greta Petrie who got her down to the ice. Radel now has the shot blocked, finds its way out, and then put on net. Nothing there for Lexi Rager. Comes down all the way to the net. It'll be waved back for icing. 13:44 remaining.
Nebraska needs to get those shots off quicker. The right shot will go in, but they need to continuously take them. And we've seen them. They're at 19 shots right now. 2 have gone in. They have been doing a great job with getting those shots, but continuing to take them is what is going to benefit Nebraska, with one of them getting in and putting this down by 2 to down by 1.
It's one thing. Well, actually, here comes another break for Brianna Buenenconcho. A chance for the hat trick. A nice save from Bailey Arnold again. But the puck is still loose in front. Arnold gets a stick to it and then pops up into the air. A whole bunch of chaos going out in front of the net, and Bailey Arnold stops it and shuts it down. A couple of nice saves from the senior. Oh, excuse me, my producer Danny Berg is telling me that was 3 nice saves from Bailey Arnold. She's up to 34 saves on the night. Well, we've got a timeout down on the ice. We're going to take it with them up here in the booth. There's 13:25 remaining. Francis Howe alongside Colin Delvand, as well as Abby McFarland ringside. You're watching the Huskers on Nebraska News Service. Back inside the Breslow Hockey Center for the Huskers' final game of the season. It's not been the best in terms of record, but they are pleased with their performance throughout. They're trailing 4-2, just over 13 minutes remaining. And a whistle goes down in behind the net. I believe the net came off of its hinges, and that's exactly what happened.
It's not a way you want to see. You want to tie that series. You want to get that 1-1. But considering the performance we've seen today by all the players, especially Bailey Arnold, though, for Nebraska, compared to last night, you have to be proud of how you've played tonight.
A much better performance. It all starts at the back for the Huskers. Bailey Arnold has looked great in net. And right on cue, she has to make a save on the near side. Just under 13 remaining now. Bulldogs trying to fashion another chance down low, try and put this game to bed. Here's Perks, sends it over to Pockrent. Now Triplett. The Huskers win the puck away and can clear now. They opt not to. Here comes Corinne McCord, showing a lot of strength there. And then I thought a penalty was going to result there. It was just an offside warning. Here come the Bulldogs the other way. Shot on net. Was a little high. Radel now. Along the board, she's pressured by 2. Eventually gets it over to Tony Stevens. Stevens gets it down ice. I believe it was tipped. That's exactly what the referee says. It will not be icing. 12:05 remaining in the third period. A decent showing from the Husker faithful, as has been all season. Sports are the name of the game here in Lincoln. A centering pass out in front and a nice save there from Whitehead. A chance again for Lexi Rager inside. Blocker save from Whitehead, but a good opportunity for the Huskers.
Nebraska does such a great job at finding that center pass right in front of the goalie, but then they don't have a player there to finish that pass.
Rager again, that one was wide. Yeah, you just said it real nicely there, Francis. No one was there to finish for the Huskers. Here come the Bulldogs now. Chance in front, and it's blocked away. And the Huskers can clear. Here comes Izzy Palmer now. Palmer, 2-on-2, has McCord with her. Chooses not to go there and is pressured off the puck and taken away by Radecki. Here comes Radecki now. Puts one in. It's blocked well by Shelby Stevens. Making me eat my words there, saying she's not a good defender. Puck is cleared down ice. Icing is waved off. And we're going to send it down rinkside to Abby McFarland. She has an interesting story to tell us about.
Thanks, guys. Brianna Buni-Contra has a hat trick. This is her fifth goal of the series, and Annika Berkey scoring her third goal of the series. Minnesota is doing really well at getting everyone involved, and the Nebraska and all the players' skills. Back to you guys.
Brianna Buni-Contra has been a threat today. 2 goals tonight, 2 goals yesterday, and has looked extremely dangerous on the breakaway, Francis.
She has been dominating those breakaways. She's proven she is such a great skater. She is so much faster. You've seen it multiple times tonight. She's just getting that one step ahead from this Nebraska defense that has helped put her team up in this game so far.
The 5'5" junior forward, the only player on this roster who is not from Minnesota, the Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin native. 11 goals on the year, up to 20 points, and second on the team just behind Annika Burke. A breakaway for the Bulldogs. Doesn't end up in the back of the net. Defended well there by Tony Stevens and co. And here come the Huskers back the other way. McKenna Mueller, nice move to get away and initiate a 3-on-2. Mueller into the O-zone. Gets absolutely rocked into the boards. And that one, the Husker faithful do not like that. They want a 5-minute major. We'll see what the call is there. What did you see, Francis?
You see that little trip up. It obviously will be a penalty. I don't know if you will consider that a 5-minute major, but it does kind of look like she is not getting up at the current moment. It did look like she slammed her head right into that board, which hopefully she can get up from this fall.
Yeah, things not looking good down on the ice. We're going to step away for a second as Addie Rusing gets treated to. Back inside the Breslow Hockey Center, I want to apologize there. I did say Addie Rusing. I did mean McKenna Mueller was down on the ice. The penalty for Elena Benson has been upgraded to a 5-minute major. She sits in the box and does her time. We hope McKenna Mueller's okay. I believe she went straight to the locker room. No, she's still there on the bench. We don't want to speculate on anything going on.
But That's a lot of ice time. That's a lot of skating for these players right now.
If the Huskers can take advantage, maybe get a goal or two on this power play, things look a lot brighter. They can extend their season at least to overtime and hopefully take something from there. Already half a minute gone on this power play and no shots generated for the Huskers. In fact, here comes another breakaway, another shorthanded breakaway, and it's dealt with well by Sparrow Shipperbottom. Gets her stick in there, and no dice for Camille Dunlap. Off the boards, it's intercepted by the Bulldogs and then poked away by the Huskers. Rusing off the boards to McCord. Goes into a bit of traffic, but takes it out and wins it back. Rusing, a little physical play there, but the Bulldogs clear it down ice, and Bailey Arnold lets it go. Just under 4 minutes now left on this power play for the Huskers. Tony Stevens a little dangerous down there in her own zone. She comes away with it eventually and is trying to fashion a chance for the Huskers. Shoved off the puck easily, and a minute and a half has gone by Francis so far. Nothing generated for the Huskers.
We see Nebraska trying to take on those 1v1 opportunities, but we've seen them struggling taking those on. They need to find those passes rather than taking on that 1v1. They're so quick with their passes and crisp when they can get it.
And we're going to see a 5-on-3 now as soon as the Bulldogs touch it, which they do. An easy cross-checking call, or excuse me, it's been an interference down here right in front of us. Francis, things were getting physical between Rusing and I believe going over to the box is Greta Petrie. So an even bigger opportunity for the Huskers now.
This is a great opportunity, but you need to see them take advantage of that. They have that 5-on-3 right now, and you will have that for a full 2 minutes, and then you still go back to a 5-on-4. But so far through the first 2 minutes of that 5-minute penalty, we haven't seen anything from Nebraska. We haven't seen any shots. We've seen more Duluth dominating that play.
It almost looks like Duluth have looked better shorthanded in this game as they've scored a couple of crucial goals on the penalty kill. But here are the Huskers now. Rager out in front. A nice blocker save there from Whitehead. And it's down low with the with the Bulldogs. Breaking away with it is Burke. She's full of confidence right now. Takes it around 1 and 2, and she scores. And that should put it away for the Bulldogs with 7:28 remaining and a 5-2 lead. Her second of the game, showing you why she's the points leader and leading goal scorer on this Bulldogs team.
Colin, you've said it. The Bulldogs have dominated when they are on that disadvantage on the ice. They have 3 players on the ice right now and are still managing to get those goals and still managing to get those shots off.
Well, a 4-on-5 isn't too uncommon to see shorthanded goals from, but a 5-on-3, Francis, is not something you see too often. Another break for the Bulldogs down low. A nice poke check there from Arnold. She comes way out of her net and makes sure no shot can be attempted there. The Bulldogs, a lot of pressure in the O zone, even though they're down 2 women. Here's McCord now. Over to Palmer. The Huskers need to get it into the zone, and they need something fast here. Still a minute plus left on this 5-on-3. Down low behind the net. McCord has Stevens and Radel. She finds Radel. Plays a poor pass, and another breakaway. Here come the Bulldogs again. It's Burke looking for the hat trick. Gets it around, gets it in! And I believe it was saved down low. And some more pushing and shoving down low from the Bulldogs, and frustration as tensions are starting to rise here at the John Breslow Hockey Center. Thank you, Francis. You did correct me there. It was Brianna Buenacontro, but you could say either was looking for their hat trick.
They both want that hat trick. We did see it last night. But also this Nebraska team, they make those mistakes, and it just kills them. They've given up so many of these breakaway opportunities, which have led to so many of their goals for the Bulldogs, but it's the simple mistakes that need to be cleaned up by Nebraska. You only have 6.5 minutes left. You might not come back from that, but you can still clean it up and not go over them getting the same score as last night and keeping it at 5-2.
Izzy Palmer will head over to the penalty box, so now we have 4-on-3 for the next couple minutes. That's not at all what the Huskers would want. But here they come. They still have an advantage. Shot on net from Radel. She'll get a second opportunity. Can't take advantage. Here's Rusing. Sends it back down, and no one is there. Played around the boards by the Bulldogs. Rager keeps it in the O zone, so the Huskers still with the advantage. Now Radel bearing down on net. The shot on goal saved well by Whitehead. 8 seconds left remaining on this power play for the Huskers.
For Duluth, all you want to see from them is just clean, crisp movements on and off the puck, clean passes, not allowing Nebraska to get any opportunities, but still just playing to your level of hockey and being able to just control the pace and control these last 6 minutes of this final game.
And if you're the Huskers, you absolutely need something now if you want anything from this game. Rager, she'll send a shot in, shoved down near the net, looked like Radel, and the Bulldogs have a 3-on-2 now. Burke gets it over to Petrie, and the shot comes in. No help there from the Bulldogs. Radel takes it the other way. We're back to 4-on-4 for the next 45 seconds. Rager gets it inside, gets the shot in low. Not a bad idea, but nothing there for the junior.
The shots need to just keep coming. You have this 4-on-4 for 42 more seconds, but then it will go on to that 5-on-4, and we've seen the Bulldogs dominating when they're down by 1 on that power play right now. But you need to continue to see from Nebraska getting those shots off.
A huge opportunity went awry there, and it could be another huge opportunity for the Bulldogs. The icing is waved off. That was some slick skating there from Annika Burke. Nearly wins it back, comes out in front in the slot. Nothing there for Annalise Walker. She gets shoved down to her feet. A shot opportunity for Parkgren. Nice blocker save there from Arnold. 4:54 remaining in this one. The Bulldogs have 5-2 lead. There's just under 10 seconds remaining on this 4-on-4 play for for each team. Here's Perks now. Perks has it. A penalty coming up to the Huskers. Shot in front, and then a shot in and into the net. It's Emma Perks, so that penalty will be waved off. But to the disadvantage of the Huskers, they now trail 6-2, and that one has put this one to bed.
We're seeing great goals and great shots by this Duluth team. And Nebraska, you're seeing them fall apart a little bit. We've seen them, they came out so strong in that second period, but now it's completely gone. They've lost it. They've lost the momentum that they did have.
You said it, Francis. They've lost the plot here with 4.5 minutes. They're playing for pride in this one for the rest of this game and for the rest of this season. Now replacing Francis Howe on color commentary is the one, the only, my friend, my pal, my partner, Danny Berg.
Well, that's a little generous, don't you think? Well, we had to make a personnel switch down on the ground. Francis is going to go take care of things post-game. If you're interested in listening to that, we have our player of the game will be taking a visit shortly after that. But I'm mostly just here to keep Colin company for the next 4 minutes.
You're always welcome, Danny. It's a pleasure to have you here alongside me. So one thing I'm going to ask you straight off the bat is, have the penalty, or excuse me, the power play for Nebraska actually hurt them?
Well, what's been really interesting about this game so far is that we've seen Nebraska get 5-on-3s, 5-on-4s, but I think you got to give a lot of credit to Duluth skaters today. They've done a really good job at forcing the puck away and just going on really long breakaways. I think we've seen 2 or 3 of those where Nebraska's had the advantage and Minnesota's just able to slip through and put one in the back of the net.
Hasn't been the cleanest couple of days for the Huskers. 13 goals conceded over the past 2 days. Well over 40 shots yesterday in last night's, I wanted to say ball game, I guess, match.
It's a puck game.
Puck game, you know,
That's
exactly. And well over 40 tonight. 42 shots for Duluth, so that's at least around 85 shots in the past couple of days for the visiting Bulldogs. A shot on net there is saved well by Whitehead. She's been great in place of Riley. They made that switch in the second period when they were trailing 2-1 and haven't seen a goal conceded since. Some more physical play down in the O-zone for the Bulldogs. They win the puck back. A nice shove off there by Rusing. Sees the Huskers win the puck back, but they can't clear.
You know, I'll tell you what. Got to give Bailey Arnold a lot of credit this weekend. The only active goaltender on the roster, Sully Daphnis, down with an injury. So they've only got one player suiting up, and she's been holding strong in that net all weekend long, all season long as well, while Sully's been out. It might not be the result you're looking for, but what a warrior back there.
Resilience in net for the Huskers. It might not show on the scoreboard, but coaches and teammates alike will be very proud that these final 2 games for Bailey Arnold have gone the way they have. The effort has definitely been there for the senior tender.
You know, it's not going to show up on the score sheet, the good things, but I think the intangibles is what she's going to take away from this weekend, playing on senior weekend, playing. I don't think the record shows everything for Duluth, 7-10 coming into today. I think they're a much better team than their record shows. And, you know, for about half the game today, about 2 periods, Nebraska held in. Like, they competed with Duluth for 2 periods and a little bit of the third. And even though this result's going to be a little lopsided, you can still take that home with you.
Danny, you sat up here with us for the entire game, and I think you just said it best. They didn't just stick with them, the Huskers did. They were the better team for about 30 minutes of this game. So something you can take maybe into next season is that you stuck with this tough Duluth squad. You know, looking at records, they might not be the best at 8-10 after this one, but you stuck in with a very good team and a very physical team, as you see a hit there.
And you got to remember, this is a very short-handed Nebraska team. You see Izzy Palmer trying to get up. It's a short-handed Nebraska team. You only have about, I think, 4 or 5 active subs on the bench. Minnesota's got about, I want to say 8 or 9 over there if my math skills are still a little sharp. And that's a huge disparity, especially in a game like hockey where you need those second and third lines to help you out.
Your math is still definitely on point, Danny.
Oh, well, thank you. I know I'm no mathematologist, but it's still a pretty good number.
We're going to see a penalty coming up here to Emma Perks, her 2nd of the game. Didn't see what the ref signaled for there, but the Huskers will end this season on the power play. And I'm almost scared to say goal number 1 should be not to concede, Danny, because we've seen so many shorthanded goals today for the Bulldogs.
It's been pretty impressive what they've been able to do without the numbers. I'll give you that much.
1:06 remaining in this season for a banged-up Husker squad. They'll be proud of their efforts, but going into next year, I'm sure they'll look for better. Tony Stevens at the blue line has it blocked, and here come the Bulldogs once again. Tony Stevens does well to get it back, but here's a chance out in front for Dunlap. She sends it back across. Can't find one in Contro, and the puck makes its way down the ice. We're under a minute now.
I think you got to give a lot of credit to this whole group for sticking with it for the whole season. This was a team that didn't have a lot of relevancy just a few years ago, and they've rebirthed this group, and they've got a lot of strides to make going forward, but I think the intangibles are there. They're going to be a fun group to watch in the coming years. A lot of youngsters. This is going to be a fun team to keep an eye on in the future. And it's been fun to get to document it all season. All 3 of Nebraska's hockey teams we've been lucky enough to be here for.
You know it, Danny. It's been a great season for us up here in the booth as we get some shoving and pushing, and then down to the floor goes a Bulldog here at the end. And in the end, it looks like a whole lot of nothing almost. Still some shoving and chirping going on. 11.1 on the clock. Looks like Rusing and Elena Benson will head to the box, and it'll be a 4-on-3 momentarily.
Now, Addie Rusing is definitely the person that's going to light a fire underneath just about anybody. And we mentioned it yesterday how she's got the most penalty minutes out of anyone on the Nebraska team.
And it's not even close.
And it's not close. And I think you kind of see why. She has a lot of fire, a lot of passion. You can't ask for much more of that from a hockey player. And this is the kind of game that breeds it. Looks like they're going to let him out of the box.
Oh, interesting one here. Maybe some mercy shown on the Huskers here, trailing 6-2.
And I think also because there's 11 seconds left. And Addie Rusing's been, looks like, kicked out, and we have both players been kicked out. Okay, then.
A lot of cheering on the Duluth bench. I'm not sure if it's sarcastic or not, but
well,
either way.
Addie was making some motions towards their bench as well.
But a fantastic season up here in the booth for all of us. We'll get into that more in a second. But final from the John Breslow Hockey Center. The Huskers are taken down for the second straight day in a row. They lose this one 6-2.
There's still some John going on here, Colin. My goodness.
And a lot of extracurriculars, at least verbally. But yeah, you said it, Danny. This season has been full of disappointment, but looking down at my roster here, a lot of positives to look forward to as well. Addie Rusing is a freshman, and she tied this team for third in points. So a lot of youngsters to look forward to, a lot of physical play coming up for the Huskers in the next couple of years.
I think there's a lot that this team has got waiting for them here coming up. And I think that, you know, oh, wow, look at that. I look terrible compared to you. This is horrid. You can clearly see
Danny.
that I've been sitting in the producer chair all season long. That's exactly what's been going on. So we had to have Frances step out. She's going to be taking care of post-game for us here pretty soon. So I'm actually going to, I'm going to go back over there. But I at least wanted to say hello for a minute. This Nebraska team's got a lot to look forward to coming up in their future. But I think this Minnesota Duluth team, they're going to keep making noise. I don't think they're going to have a losing record for much longer.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of positives for them as well. I mean, looking at the play of Brianna Buenaventura and Annika Burke, Danny, just fantastic couple of players for the Bulldogs that have bright futures ahead, a sophomore and junior duo who are going to look to tear it up next year and beyond.
You know, I'll tell you what, we were here for both games this weekend, and they were really, really impressive. It surprises me all the time that this is a club team and they're not up competing at the higher level. Well, looks like we're getting close here. Colin, why don't you finish this up and we'll get down to Frances here in a few minutes.
Yeah, no doubt, Danny. Just a season of ups and downs for the Huskers comes to an end here. In the fashion you'd probably expect, 6-2 loss for the hometown Huskers. They have a lot to look forward to.
Go ahead and send it down when you're ready.
And we're just about ready to go down ringside. We have, I believe, Abby McFarland and Frances Howe with Brianna Buenaventura, a brace for her today.
Thank you, guys. We have Brianna Buenaventura with us today. Congratulations on that win. Congratulations on the win last night.
Okay, I'll bring it back up to you.
What was the mindset going into today's game after that great win last night?
Honestly, last night our momentum was just up, and then this morning, I'm not going to lie, went to the casino, kept the momentum up, and we were able to come through again with the W.
And then you guys were down that 2-1, but then you get that 2-2, and then your momentum continues to gravitate upwards. How do you shift that momentum?
I think it's just all of us working together as a team. We all knew that it was a couple of our players' last games, and we had to win it for them.
And then congratulations on your hat trick, but what was that mindset? You got that hat trick in your final game, and it was a away game to get you guys that win today.
Wait, what was the question?
How was your energy feeling? How was that energy shift getting that hat trick?
Oh, my energy was pretty good. My mom offered me $100 before if I got the last goal, so shout out to my mom.
All right, well, thank you so much, and congratulations on that win.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Frances. That was a very nice interview with Brianna Buenaventura, second in points for these visiting Duluth Bulldogs. And to wrap up this season, I have to say a quick thank you to Danny Berg, Harmon Johnson, Beck Frazier, Matt Malloy, Frances Howe, Abby McFarland,
hey guys,
and everybody else, Colton Alder, Sam Whitaker, Eli Rodriguez, Christopher Sullivan Diaz, whoever else was part of this hockey team. You are the reason that this happens.
It's been a fun season.
And you are the reason that we're able to call these games. So we've all had so much fun doing this.
It's been a fun season, my man.
I can't wait to, him and I have baseball coming up this week. We're very excited about that. But to keep the focus on hockey, we look forward to a better season next year, but not a more entertaining season next year. It was incredibly entertaining nonetheless, as poor a season as it was for the Huskers. But
for us at the College of Journalism, Mass Communications at the University of Nebraska, this was the most we've put in to hockey ever. This was really something started by Jake Schranz, Matt McMaster, Keegan Oliveira, and Eli, who's back again. He was the lone holdover from last year's group, and we've really tried to take it on as much as we can, and it's been a whole lot of fun getting to do this. We're going to have some fun statistics coming out on Nebraska's social media channels here in the next coming days that we're looking forward to sharing with everybody, and it's going to be a fun season next year when we hope to see you all back.
It should be a lot of fun indeed, Danny. None of this happens without you, so thank you so much. You're huge to this program. I don't know where it would be without you.
Appreciate you, man.
So, to all you watching at home, thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your year and enjoy the rest of Husker sports season. Once again, for Danny Berg, Francis Howe, Colton Alder, Matt Malloy, Abby McFarland, I'm Colin Dalvan. We say thank you and good night.